So this is it. Okay, do you guys remember the Sound Blaster sound cards that were in the 90s computers? The thing that's cool about this synth is that that's what it's using as its operator, like it's as its sound engine. So basically it's an FM synth based on a sound card, a Sound Blaster card from the 90s. That's why it's called Blast Beats, okay? Now, what's really cool about it is that, first of all, let's go build quality, super, super nice, really nice. The same kind of buttons that you'll find also like on the Perkons, whatever. Robust metal case. So the outs and ins are pretty clear. You have USB, you have MIDI in and out, and you have a SD card. Then you also have headphones and a mix. So two, let's say, master outs, and then you have four separate outs that you can then send out individually. The thing also that's really cool about it too is that it's fairly small in the sense of like if you were going to go play out, this wouldn't be hard to take with you. And it sounds big, like it's a pretty amazing sounding synthesizer. I keep calling it a synthesizer. It's like a groove box. It's like a drum machine. It's a lot of things. One of the things also that's super nice about it too is that the way that it's laid out with the algorithms and the waveforms on the top, you guys see that there? That's all stuff that you'll see in the video that will be visually represented also by the buttons as you move the sliders around. So it's quite deep and also can be kind of technical in a way. I hooked it up with the Solar to see if the analog sync was working, and it's working great. And it's a lot of fun, this thing. I think what's cool about these are like the unique kind of sounds that are not your classic like 808, 909 or whatever. This drum machine specifically kind of wants to be quirky and also wants to be kind of abrasive sometimes too. Then at the same time, you know, you can also be quite like bell-like, and well, like any FM synth, but you know, FM drums are cool that way. And then when you play it with external effects, it doesn't have any onboard effects, but if you play with external effects, then the sound really comes out because then you really see that the potential is there because the raw waveforms are so beautiful. Basically, it's made by a guy, like one guy makes this whole line of musical instruments. His name is Alex. I can't remember his last name. I'll put it in the description or something like that. And it's kind of incredible because he's like this British guy who lives in France who like makes synths and drum machines, but he's also like a one-man band. Like it's only him, I think, working on all this. And for a product of this quality, that's amazing. Also, same mentality in the way of the guys at Elta, you know, like Sergey, I don't remember all their names either, but there's like a couple people making synthesizers that are going around the whole world. And this is the kind of stuff that I think is super cool. If you guys saw my video about why I didn't really like the Ableton Move, it's because I thought it wasn't that innovative. Now, this is super innovative because you're taking like a sound card from the 90s and turning it into like something relevant in 2025. That's amazing. So this is part of the video I wanted to do was talk about the title and the thumbnail. You know, I have no beef with spending money on synthesizers or equipment, and I think it's right. Like we were talking about this lately in some of the comments about how maybe even musical instruments like violins cost like $20,000, even more than that. Don't hate me. I'm only trying to be as kind of rational as possible here. So the Erica Synths Perkons, it's an amazing drum machine. And honestly, if I had $2,000, I would buy it. Would be wonderful to have in the studio. The only thing about it though is that it's fairly limited for how expensive it is. And it's basically a 4-voice analog drum machine for like $2,000. If you are into the idea of having like a drum machine that is something that you can program on the fly, that is fun to play with, that gives you that feeling of like wanting to be messed with, and you don't have 2,000 euro, I think this is an amazing alternative because basically this thing is like 600 bucks. Let me break it down like this. Okay, so if you think about it from like the Perkons point of view, if this was a Perkons, right, you would have like voice, you would have like a kick, a snare, a hi-hat, and some kind of tom kind of thing, right? But the difference here is that you have 6 other timbres you can choose from, right? And what that means is that like it's like 2 Perkons and a half in a way, but not really, but in a way it is. And it's not about the voice count because of course you can make a groove with like 1 sound, but the point is also that for $2,000 to have 4 voices versus for 600 bucks to have 10 voices. Can you see what I'm kind of getting at? I mean, the workflow of the Perkons I think is more instantaneous, but you can see I've had this thing for a couple days, I think, and I haven't really had a lot of time to play with it, and I feel comfortable with it already. I'll probably get way better at it, but you know what I'm saying? It's not that complicated. So workflow-wise, I don't really see a big difference. All right, again, you guys, I'm not being a hater on Perkons. I think if I could afford it, I would buy it. Let me put it like this. If you are gonna go out and gig, I don't think you're really gonna take the Perkons with you. I mean, like, first of all, I'm not gonna take a $2,000 drum machine and put it next to, you know, on a table where there's like, you know, not only equipment, but who knows, like booze, whatever, you know, cigarette, anything that's like in a, can you guys get what I'm saying? You're not going to want to take your beautiful synth to like a grubby club to play. What I'm saying is this more portable version makes sense in a way for the gigging artist, meaning that if you're loving the feeling of being in the moment, this is a probably good alternative if you're going to be going out. Yeah, I mean, look, this is a sort of synth review in a way, but it's also an opinion. And if you guys have your opinions, please don't kill me. Look, I don't want to make like a clickbaity video, and that's not the point. The point is like giving you an alternative that maybe if you want to get into this kind of drum machine stuff, but you don't want to spend $2,000, this is probably a good alternative. That's basically it. In the comments, so let me know what you think. And if you guys like these kind of videos, like and subscribe. But anyway, guys, thank you always, and looking forward to seeing you soon.